I'm Eboni K. Williams, and this video is about Voter Suppression Movement 2012. Now, if the term movement strikes you as a bit dramatic, I assure you it is not. I had the good fortune of attending the DNC convention in Charlotte, North Carolina this past fall. And in that panel, it was introduced by Donald Brazile. It was moderated by Dr. Melissa Harris Perry, and Ben Jealous, president of the NAACP, was on panel, along with America Ferrera of Ugly Betty fame, who was there as an advocate for Latino rights. Incredibly diverse panel, along with some other professionals in the legal movements, mostly attorneys in the room. And what we were talking about was the very serious nature of this voter suppression movement that is taking place this election cycle. Now, this election is unlike anything we've ever seen in terms of just the pure money being involved. I think President Barack Obama and Governor Mitt Romney at last count were in excess of $2 billion into this thing. So that just gives you a bit of an idea. Billion, $2 billion so far as to what's at stake in this election cycle. Now, when talking about the voter suppression movement, we're not talking about one or two attempts. We're talking about a three-dimensional platform enlisted to keep certain voters from the polls. Now, if that's not alarming to you, I don't know what your problem is, because when someone infringes on my fundamental right to vote, I'm mad about it. So let's talk about the platforms. Number one, they're trying to institute brand new voter ID laws in states that don't currently have such laws, states like Texas, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Now, fortunately, the courts have saw through these attempts as to what they are so far, thinly veiled attempts to keep systematically particular voters away from the polls. So far, they've put these efforts on hold, so they won't take place for this election cycle. But don't sleep yet, because I would not be surprised at all to see these same attempts to block your vote come back through the pipeline next term. Secondly, we've got redistricting going on. And thirdly, we have an effort to decrease the opportunities to vote early. Now, this is really alarming because certain groups of people vote early more often than others. For example, in 2008, the black vote was the early vote with an overwhelming 50% margin rate. That made a huge difference for President Obama in his election into office in 2008. And it would seem that certain forces are trying to make sure that that does not happen again. For example, Florida recently had legislation coming through the pipeline that would have taken away that Sunday before Election Tuesday as an opportunity to vote early. Fortunately, it didn't work, and those voters will have an opportunity to take the church van or whatever means of transportation they tend to take to get to the polls the Sunday before Election Tuesday. So what I'm trying to tell you is to put a historical lens on this. Quite frankly, here in America, before a certain time, unless you were a white, wealthy, male landowner, you weren't voting. So if you're not into that category today, someone has probably fought and died for you to have a right to go cast your ballot. And now it would seem that we're at a place of re-legislating the right that we've already been afforded. That is incredibly problematic. We should be a country of progress, not regress. So what is the big picture? What does this mean? Why are they trying to suppress these particular votes? Well, I'm pretty sure it's not because the policies and candidates on the ballot for these parties are so great for these certain groups of people they're trying to disenfranchise. In fact, I would bet that it's the exact opposite. I would bet that the candidates and politics that go behind these voter suppression efforts have disastrous policies awaiting groups that they are trying to disenfranchise, groups like black people, Latinos, older voters. We really need to watch this incredibly carefully, America. So I'll leave you with this. The right to vote is more than just another fundamental right. It's a moral issue, and one that I take incredibly seriously. So I urge you, pay attention, read your newspapers, look at your polling dates. Recently, we have Arizona and Ohio sending out mailers with incorrect polling areas and incorrect voting dates. Voting is November 6th, people. Go cast your ballot and make America proud. Thank you so much. I'm Eboni K. Williams.